Welcome to the Montana Outdoor High Adventure Base General Info Webinar. I'm Alex Crawford, the Trek Director at MOHAB for the 2023 season. I've been working at MOHAB for about 5-6 years now. Here's Luke Cocoli.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Luke Cocoli, the Camp Director at MOHAB. I'll be going on my 11th season here in 2023 and can't wait to have you up at the Boone and Crockett Club's Theodore Roosevelt Memorial Ranch.
And hello, everybody. My name is Thomas Evans. I am the previous Trek Director for MOHAB for the past 4-5 years. It is such a pleasure to have you this year at MOHAB.
So as you hopefully know by now, MOHAB stands for Montana Outdoor High Adventure Base. We're the only high adventure base offering backcountry pack rafting expeditions in the entire country. So this area you see highlighted on the map in orange is the Bob Marshall Wilderness Complex. And that's basically our playground for MOHAB. 7 times larger than Philmont and over 1 million acres in size. We're going to be operating primarily first out of the Boone and Crockett Club's Theodore Roosevelt Memorial Ranch, which is going to be on kind of the top right-hand corner of the Bob Marshall Complex. And then we can dive into the Sun River drainages or north and west into the Flathead River drainages. This photo shows our Rasmussen Wildlife Conservation Center. This is where you'll be starting and ending your treks. So this is where you'll drive into on day 1. We'll go over meeting the staff, some orientation procedures, maybe bust out some maps and start picking through some routes. Day 2 will be comprised entirely here on site at base camp, where we'll divvy out group gear, we'll go on a shakedown hike, and we'll do meal packaging. So here you can see meal packaging in progress. So each crew is going to be developing their own dehydrated meals menu for both breakfast and dinners. So you'll pack in a cook group of maybe 3, 4, 5 individuals, and you will make your meals in bulk out of all the ingredients we have in store for you here at the building. Remember, your lunches need to be brought by you personally. So that might include jerky, snack bars, pro bars, other special treats to keep you going while on trail. And then here's what the finished product looks like in the woods. So this is one big bag of food. It looks to me like there's bananas and oats, maybe some nuts in there. So this is primarily a breakfast meal. So this is going to be shared with your cook group. You're going to heat up boiling water with the cook kit we give you here during the group gear session. And you'll sit around the campfire, sit around camp, boil your water, dump some food in your bowl, dump the hot water in your bowl, give it a stir, and there you go. Simple as that. There's your breakfast. Do that every morning. Pack up camp, hit the trail or hit the river. Lunches, again, are on your own, so bring your snacks, be prepared. And then whenever we take off, or take out of the water or end our day's travel down trail, we'll be setting up camp and going through this procedure again with our dinner meal.
And of course, you'll be carrying that meal in your backpack. So what does your backpack look like? Well, in this photo, you can see a couple different configurations of packs. In the bottom left corner, we have a sleeping mat with a helmet, paddles, pack raft, and a life jacket, all strapped to the exterior of the pack. So that means that everything else that you bring needs to fit on the inside. That includes your sleeping bag, your group gear, your food, your 10 essentials, and any other gear that you deem necessary to bring to MOHAB. Of course, reference your gear lists on the leader's guide when you're packing. Bring nothing more and nothing less. The gear list has been refined over the past decade to be your sole resource for packing your backpack. There's no need to go to extraneous sources to find gear lists because we provide everything that you need to have in the leader's guide. So there's a couple things that we're looking for when we're packing our back. We're looking for things to be condensed down and to be stacked in such a way to put most of the weight onto your hips. And so you may think that putting the pack raft at the top of your pack may be counterintuitive. However, if you've packed it correctly, your pack should be distributed evenly with all of the weight driving into your hips, so that way your shoulders don't get sore and bruised throughout the week. You can also put the pack raft on the bottom of your pack, but we can go over exact configurations when you're at base camp during our shakedown hike. And as you can see in the photo, our paddles will go on the outside. And it makes for quite a scene walking down the trail when you have all of these paddles flapping up and down in the wind. But this is how we do it here at MOHAB. And so when we're not backpacking, we'll be pack rafting, of course. And that's why you've chosen to come to MOHAB in the first place. So there's a couple things to notice in this photo. One, the scout is fully prepared. He has his life jacket on, his helmet. He has his paddle in the brace position while he's going down this small waterfall. And his pack is tied on tightly to the front using our D rings that are provided on the pack raft and some extra paracord. If you wish, you may bring some extra paracord if you think it may help you tie down your pack. But the staff members will help you with that on the first day that you arrive at MOHAB. His raft is fully inflated. It is tempered. We'll go over what that means when you arrive at base camp. And he has his whistle on his vest. So this scout is fully prepared to take on whatever challenges lie ahead. He's looking downriver and he's ready to make the next paddle stroke to get around the next rock, the next rapid, the next tree, or around the next corner, whatever may lie ahead here. So this is what the typical pack raft looks like, what you'll be doing here pretty soon, what you should be training for, right? If you're going to be paddling for 8 hours a day, make sure to do a couple extra push-ups in your workout regimen. So that way you have the upper body strength to endure the raging rapids that we have in our drainages. And you'll also have to train your legs for backpacking, right? So MOHAB is, a physical activity, and you should be fully ready for, whatever the wilderness throws your way. So when we arrive at the trailhead, we may be getting right onto the river, or we may be backpacking. But these scouts were lucky, and they went in at a put-in where we inflated the rafts with the inflation bags, those gray inflatable tubes of nylon material. They'll trap the air, roll it in, and then squeeze all the air into the pack raft. And so they'll be getting onto the river right away at the trailhead, which is why you see cars in the background. However, we may load up the backpacks and start walking for a couple miles before we put into the river on the subsequent day. So this is, typically what inflating your pack raft will look like. And these people are just getting ready to go for a raft. They're getting organized, and shortly they'll be getting all of their personal protective equipment on to hit the river.
Sweet. You're hiking, you saw how big that the wilderness is, MOHAB takes place in. The trail conditions vary extremely any which way you may think. Snow can be any place in the Bob Marshall any time of year. Encounter that, especially in the early season of MOHAB, or there just may be no trail at all. Trail crews come in every spring and try to clear logs off of them. We don't have any photos, but there's plenty of times we've encountered big die-offs of trees blown over by wind, covering up the trail that you just got to climb over to get where you need to be. Otherwise, trails can just be grown over, be totally gone, requiring the scouts to get their bearings right, find where to go to continue on down the trek. Other conditions, we don't allow waterproof boots. Plenty of trails that don't go over nice little bridges. There's probably 5 bridges in total in that massive wilderness of MOHAB, or massive wilderness of Bob Marshall. So plenty of water crossings that can be up to knee deep. None of them are super through fast flowing water, just occasional streams to go through. And of course, there's well-maintained trails, plenty of those as well. Here's what one of your shelters will look like. Our shelters are big, flat tarps, pack up nice and tight. Don't weigh very much at all. With a bag of stakes, and then we use the paddles from the pack rafts, put them up the front, 3 in the front, 2 in the back you can't see. They lift up the back, and you can fit 5 people under it pretty comfortably, 6 a little less comfortably, but you can fit a lot of people. We usually carry 2 to 3 of these per trek. As for the sleeping arrangements, you can see we throw a tarp down, and then the pad, and then your sleeping bag. Tarp keeps you nice, keeps a little less bugs off of your sleeping pad and your sleeping bag. And then obviously a pad, don't want to be sleeping on the hard, cold ground. Sometimes you'll be sleeping on riverbanks, nice, moist grassland, or just regular dirt. Where the ranch place takes, where the ranch is also known as the super highway for bear activity. Plenty of bears here. One of the most condensed grizzly bear populations in the lower 48 states is where MOHAB takes place. We hang our food in bear bags every night. We don't use bear canisters. There's plenty of trees around. So when you come to MOHAB, make sure you have a bag dedicated as your food bag. And that is what you hang up every night in a tree after we throw a rope over it. Put a bunch of bear bags at once. Here's just one. We'll be having 6, 7 bear bags per line, have 5 scouts pull them up in the tree, tie that rope around the tree, and it's good for the night. Bears can't get it. It's got to be 12 feet high minimum, 4 feet out from the log. Make sure no bears can climb and get to it. Otherwise, I do not have anything else for the rest of the presentation. If Luke or Tom have anything else to add.
Like Alex mentioned, we are in a grizzly bear inhabited area, both at base camp and in the Bob Marshall Wilderness. Therefore, we practice leave no trace principles everywhere we go. So all things that are attractants, even deodorant or toothpaste, for example, would go in a bear bag, which would go up the tree. So no smellables in camp or in your tent after meal times or before meal times. Other than that, we have great communication with base camp, with each crew that goes out. We have GPS devices, we have satellite phones. Crews check in nightly with base camp and provide any other services or amenities you may need before, during, and after. So we look forward to having you here at MOHAB, and thanks for taking part in this webinar.
Awesome. That was sweet. Stop recording, pause recording.